Some things are hard to open. So maybe you read the directions, push down and turn. Some of us here are longing for an opening. Maybe it's at a charter school. Maybe it's a job opening. That's what we're going to think about a little bit this morning, openings. You think about it, it's a significant topic. Has practical importance. I got a phone call one time. Someone knew that I had a ladder. They asked me to come over to their place and see whether there was an open window upstairs because they had locked themselves out. And sure enough, found one open window. It was enough for me to get the ladder over there. I said, you do the climbing and all the other stuff, okay? But we all do it. What? Lock ourselves out. I remember locking myself out once. Had groceries and so forth, and can't get in. No upper window. What I figured out was I know that one cellar window's open, but then again, can I fit through the cellar window? Am I able to twist myself so as to get through it and to land on my head without bumping my head? Well, I got through all right. I walked up the cellar steps and went out the back door, shut the door, picked up the groceries, and realized I just locked myself out. The second time would be half as hard. Well, I'll do it now. But there wasn't a third time. I heard once of a man that was waiting for an opening in the traffic flow so he could get onto the main drag. And he thought to himself, as he surveyed the situation, that if he would go right immediately, right after this one car, and before the next car, he could get in there. And he was right about that. There was enough room. What he was not aware of was that the first car was towing the second car. And if you and I don't know what we're doing with this opening stuff and this blockage and these locked doors and these barriers, we don't know what we're doing. We're in for a great deal of difficulty that is only humorous well after the fact, right? Amen? Not at the time. Lock your keys in the car while it's running, that kind of thing, How are you going to get in, all right? What are you going to do? We're looking at Acts chapter 16. Let's open our Bibles and look in that place. This is like a transition Sunday because we've been in the book of Philippians, and Acts chapter 16 tells us how that church, the church in Philippi, got started. So it's a good thing for us to check it out and see what's going on there. In Acts chapter 16, if we would back up earlier than the point where we started the reading, and we will go beyond the point where we ended the reading. But notice Acts 16, verse number 6, that the Apostle Paul was forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. That doesn't mean that the word would never go to Asia, but the timing was not right for it to go further into Asia at that particular point. Actually, the door that was open to him was to go to Philippi, and that represented movement of the gospel to the first European city. It's kind of like trying to think what would happen if the South won the Civil War, but if things were different, if Paul did not go to Philippi, perhaps we would not be here this morning in the flow of the gospel from one place and one person to another place and another person. So Verse number 6, Acts 16, Paul was forbidden by the Holy Spirit to preach the word to Asia. They tried, verse 7, but the Spirit did not permit them. And then verse 9 says, a vision appeared to Paul in the night. A man of Macedonia stood and pleaded with him, come over to Macedonia, and with the last two words, help us. Come over here and help us. We're going to look at three significant openings that are of God. But the first one here is that he opens the way, the location, the place that you and I are to be. I plead with you that before you go from one job to the other, pray. Consult with God. Bring Him into the picture. Nothing is so foolish as quitting a job before you have a job. But before you make movement from one place to another, pray. James writes in another place that we ought not to say that we will go to such and such a city and stay there for so long and get gain. He says you do not know. You don't know that. You ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will do this, that, or the other thing. Bring God into the picture. Now, I have a good family friend that has all the training and certification to be a teacher. He can't find work. Can't find work. I said to him, you know what? The Philadelphia Board of Education is in great need of qualified teachers, like yourself. He said, I'm not looking in Philadelphia. I'm looking for a place outside of Philadelphia. When you go to the Lord in prayer, you're praying about a job, you're praying about where you're going to go and live, you're going to pray about where you're going to go to school, where your children are going to go to school. Don't tell Him. Ask Him. Ronald Reagan said one time, there are jobs, but if you're looking for a job with your hours on your pay scale, you know, and all the benefits that you want, they might not be there. Right? But I'll tell you this, God has a place and He has a purpose for you. And He will shut doors, and He will open doors, and we would be wise to be aware of that He's the one that does that. I'm looking back over time, and I remember when I was in another place, in another church, and for 3.5 years I was wondering, should I stay here or not? Then I heard about this place that was without a pastor for 3.5 years, trying to find somebody. Intriguing, isn't it? Be open to what the Lord wants of you. Where are we going to live? What are you going to do? And don't wait till push comes to shove, and now you're in a panic mode. And all else has failed, and now you drop to your knees and pray. Pray. Yes, pray. But from the get-go, from day one, go to Him as to where it should be. Paul says in this text, this inspired text, that he wanted to go in that direction, but God moved him in another direction. And this was God's call on his life. A vision, verse 9, appeared to Paul in the night. A man of Macedonia stood and pleaded with him, saying, come over to Macedonia, and what are the words? Help us. Where can you be used? What does God have for you there? Verse 10, and after he had seen the vision, I underscored in my Bible immediately. How long would it take you to respond if you knew that this was God's good and perfect will for your life? So it might take me a year or so to get my things in order, to make arrangements, to pack my bags, to do this and do that.